Monday Night Baseball. Coverage begins at 6 Eastern with first pitch at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN. Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
I don't want to disparage cat dads out there, single cat dads.
But
I have to say, I imagine if my girlfriends and I are at brunch and we're talking about a guy that one of my friends is dating and she's like, yeah, he's a cat dad, it has a certain connotation to it. A cat guy just kind of signifies...
Catty.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Sunday.
Let me introduce you to the 20 best drivers in the world.
The rock stars of racing bring the heat to South Beach.
The heat is on.
For F1's first U.S. race of the year.
The Miami Grand Prix.
The Formula One Crypto.com Miami Grand Prix. Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern on ABC and ESPN+. ESPN coverage presented by Mercedes-Benz. Watch every race from Miami to Silverstone on ESPN and ESPN+.
Coming to you live from the Superbook Sports Studios in Kettering. You're listening to Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Off and rolling on a Thursday. We welcome you in. It's the Kinner and Kev Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. Mr. Kev Nash, welcome.
What up, doe?
Off and rolling.
It's
your Friday. No, it's my Friday. No, it's our Friday. We are off tomorrow.
Correct.
We are off tomorrow. I have a funeral to attend, so I'm off tomorrow. Then we're back at it again starting next week. But can you believe we are officially, today's Thursday, so a week ago today was the first round of the NFL draft, and that seems like ages ago.
Long time ago, because so much has happened. I mean, we got through all the rounds, and now all these teams have all these new players on their team, not only the free agents, but now they got the rookies, and now we're about to see more guys get cut once, training camp comes around, and once cats start realizing, man, he makes a whole bunch of money. We can go ahead and get rid of him because this rookie is just as good as he is. Then there's going to be teams picking up those veterans for pennies on the dollar. It's about to be very exciting times.
So as we sit here right now, I've already seen crazy things such as early mock drafts for next year. Yeah. Content, man. Content. People desperate for content.
You know what? I laugh, but actually one of my buddies sent me one, and I thought, who made this mock draft? Because this player is not going to be the first overall pick.
Ohio State didn't have many players go off the board this year.
Oh, boy.
Oh, you talking about Shador?
No. I'm talking about the one that I got sent. I can't remember exactly which place it was from. It wasn't from PFF or ESPN, but they had Jalen Milroe going first.
Oh, yeah, see.
I was like, was this fan generated?
I feel like it was like, that AI generator, just like, hey, preview next year's. Actually, I really am curious what chat, what the chat would say. Would be if they did a mock draft for next year, what it would look like. We haven't used the
Chat PT.
Chat PT. I kept almost saying Chatterbox. But speaking of Chatterbox, we are live on 1410 Wing AM, live on Chatterbox Sports on YouTube, off and rolling. Shout out to Casey holding it down behind the scenes, producing today's show on the video side. Appreciate him, of course. We were going to catch up with Brent Sobleski today. We're going to push that back to next week. Brent Sobleski, again, NFL analyst for Bleacher Report. We're going to touch base with him next week to start kind of previewing the next wave of free agency. How active can we expect your Cincinnati Bengals, Cleveland Browns, Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens? How busy can we expect the AFC North to be in the second wave of free agency? So we'll get to that with Brent Sobleski next week. So just keep that in mind. But, all right, lots to dive into here today. We'll open up the show, of course. We'll slap some music behind this once again, but a little what's trending, what's floating around in the world of sports out there that we don't spend an entire segment on, but we touch on a lot of different things. How about this one? I don't know about you, but I mean, there is the best sports show out there that is from the time I was a kid.
Ours.
Until, the second, right? But the TNT preview, the NBA preview show, or just the pregame show with Shaq and Charles and Ernie and those guys. Well, that could be up in limbo as NBC is really trying to position themselves to buy out the NBA from TNT, and that would leave the most popular pregame show in the country kind of in limbo a little bit. In fact, Charles Barkley has an out in his contract, or a clause in his contract, that if TNT gets bought out, he would become an immediate free agency with no non-compete clause in there. Charles Barkley could potentially be jumping on the mothership or some other major network out there. But I don't want that change. I think that's a staple.
Yeah.
I mean that just the intro music, just Ernie's voice. I mean everything on there, everything about that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But again, with everything changing, with all these TV deals, with all the sports being impacted by it, the NBA could be for a nice little makeover coming up, good or bad.
Yeah, I saw the reports. Over $2.5 billion is the initial bid for the rights to the NBA. I mean, I just think about it like this. I think back. I remember the last finals that was on NBC, and my uncle, he told me, I remember the last finals on CBS. And it's just like, when you get older and older, you just realize hey man, things weren't always as they are today. Obviously, watching TNT and ESPN hold the rights to basketball, which seems like it's been forever. It's at least 20, 25 years they've been on these stations. But, everything changes. And, I mean, obviously, I want that to continue forever. But if they leave, they leave, man. I mean, Charles Barkley is still going to be entertaining if he on ESPN or NBC. But those guys together, I think that's the key. But I think the guy that's not going to be there if it goes away is Ernie Johnson. And he's the glue to that. And, obviously Charles and Shaq and Kenny, they're get all the credit for it. But Ernie Johnson has to rile all that talent together, keep them on pace, still allow them to be themselves, but still get to the important parts and also allow the funny jokes to happen at the same time. I think he's going to be missed if this whole thing doesn't get figured out.
Yeah, he's kind of the point guard, if you will, that facilitates and kind of allows the craziness between all the talent that's up there nonetheless. But, yeah, what I'm hoping is that those four realize the value that they all have. I mean, they're all valuable pieces by themselves, but I think they could potentially all acknowledge the fact that, well, hey, us four as a package, we'll put us up for bid. By us as a package, it would be interesting nonetheless. But yeah, all four of those are not going to take long to find jobs. That's for sure. And I'll be curious to see if the NBA if ESPN swoops in to absorb some of those guys.
I'm predicting they all go kind of different ways. Because I mean, Shaq, he lives I want to say in Orlando and in LA. So eventually I believe that Barkley still lives in Phoenix, so that probably the shoe-in for him to go out to ESPN and be in the LA offices, so to speak. How much Stephen A is out there, that Shannon Sharp's out there. I just think that, this is, if they don't get things worked out with TNT, everybody's just going to, quote-unquote, go their own separate ways, and we're no longer going to see this great program.
What's trending? Kidder and Cav 1410, ESPN Radio, off and rolling here, Chatterbox Sports on YouTube. How about this? So, Tyler Boyd, we're going to talk with Brent Sobleski next week regarding the next wave of free agency. Where can we see some of the big remaining free agent names go? And the Tennessee Titans are a potential rumored spot for him to end up. No surprise there, but apparently the LA Chargers are potentially looking at the veteran wide receiver to kind of give Justin Herbert a little bit of help, because they stripped a lot of payroll from the Chargers, of course, to make room to keep some of the big weapons on defense. Obviously, they go young in the draft and trying to kind of fill some holes that way. Obviously, Harbaugh really focusing up on the trenches on both sides of the ball, but a veteran wide receiver for Justin Herbert is very crucial. They're making a run at Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, that'd be a good fit for him. Be a good situation. I mean, he's been a selfless receiver. He's always been willing to, play on the outside, on the inside. On the inside, at his size, he has to do a lot of the dirty work, like block linebackers and stuff like that. When you're going to be playing for a Jim Harbaugh team as a wide receiver, your job isn't simply to run routes and catch touchdowns. Your job is going to be there to block a lot. And he's been willing to do that in his entire career. He's always been a team guy for the Cincinnati Bengals. So I think this would be a perfect fit for him going out there. And then being kind of like a mentor to Quentin Johnston as well. So, and obviously linking up with Herbert. Hey, I'm going to go from Joe Burrow to Herbert. Sounds like a plan to me.
Yeah, again, you want a veteran guy throwing you the ball, no doubt about it. And Justin Herbert definitely checks off that box. I think both of those complement each other pretty fairly as far as that's concerned. Next up, your Pittsburgh Steelers. You think about some of the great kickoff returners in NFL history. I think we could potentially be adding Justin Fields to that list. Apparently, and this was said by Steelers running back Jalen Warren on Justin Fields potentially returning kicks this season. He says our special teams coordinator was talking about Justin Fields being back there. Could we see the former Buckeye quarterback fielding kicks for the for the Pittsburgh Steelers this coming up season?
I wouldn't take anything off the table as far as that. I mean, they're already talking about like packages with him on the regular offense, but I would have to ask somebody that knows more. I know what his trade is if he takes X amount of snaps as a Pittsburgh Steelers, that pick goes from a 6th-round pick to a 4th-round pick. Now, I don't think you want to burn up, those snaps on kickoffs and then give up a 6th-round pick and then get all the way jump to a 4th-round pick because you got him back there returning kicks. I mean, there's a reason why you signed Cordell Patterson to your team. He's supposed to be like the return guy. That's what his job is, been his entire career as a return specialist. He's an all-pro return specialist. So, that's his job. I mean, I think that with Justin Fields coming to the Pittsburgh Steelers, a new offense for him, not only a new offense for him, but for everybody on that team, needs to focus on learning the new offense and getting his feet wet with that instead of returning kicks.
So from a team perspective, I could see why they would want to try and maximize his ability. Okay, obviously with him with the football in his hands and open space, he's a pretty dangerous athlete as far as that's concerned. But if I'm Justin Fields, you got to look out for your brand. And you got to be pretty self-aware to know that, okay, I can't really expect to be the starting quarterback. I'm going to go in and compete and do my best to outduel Russell Wilson to win the starting job in Pittsburgh. But most likely I'm going to be a backup. But what I have to do is make sure that I am not being lost in the shuffle of the perception of who I am. And I think that the second that he becomes a gimmick and the second that he becomes a guy that is used in those packages, as they like to call him, I just think that, okay, that's an excuse for Pittsburgh and other teams not to use him as what he truly is, which is a quarterback. So from a team perspective, I could see why they would want to kick the tires on it. But I'm here to tell you, with Lamar Jackson, would he accept being told, hey, we think we're going to be using you in some kickoff return action, punt return action? Now, Justin Fields is not Lamar Jackson. I get that. But at the same time, I have a problem with that idea if Justin Fields has a problem with it. Now, if he's open for it because he's a great teammate, and, hey, anything you need from me, great. But, again, I do think that he might have a say in that, and we'll see what ends up happening. But he could be worried, man, if I speak up and don't do it, I'm not helping my chances any, but I also don't want to be viewed at differently if I do this, because every time I do something out on the field that's not as quarterback, that's making it more difficult to be viewed at as a quarterback moving forward.
I think this stat right here will tell you he's not going to be doing it. 2021, 12 fumbles. 2022, 16 fumbles. 2023, 10 fumbles. We got a fumbler on our hands, so no, we don't need that. We don't need you fumbling on the brand new kickoff rules.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think he's good. That's a good point. That's actually the stats of beat all stats as far as that goes. How about the Kansas City Chiefs? They are expecting wide receiver Rashee Rice to be suspended for at least half of the upcoming 2024 season. Now, it's interesting because you look at the last or the first round pick that the Chiefs made, obviously, and going to get the wide receiver from where am I losing my mind here?
Worthy,
the wide receiver from Texas, a speed receiver, all that. So obviously that could be the guy next up to be the number one target for Patrick Mahomes. But a name we just talked about, Tyler Boyd, a little bit ago. I would look out for Tyler Boyd in Kansas City if they actually feel this way. Tyler Boyd talking about going to Tennessee, maybe a reunion back in Cincinnati. I don't know if there's any interest there. Obviously, it'd have to be for a smaller, deal. But I would look out for Kansas City in that Tyler Boyd sweepstakes if it's all said and done, especially if they truly do believe that they're going to be without Rashee Rice for half the upcoming season.
Yeah, that's not a bad take. I know, obviously, they got Hollywood Brown there as well, but these are a lot of guys out there. Prove-it situations if you go get Tyler Boyd and a Hollywood Brown with that team. So
I forgot about the Hollywood Brown edition, which is another speed guy
another
too.
Speed guy.
They're not gonna be they're gonna be much faster than last year.
They're gonna be way better offensively this upcoming season. They're gonna be able to stretch the field, especially if Rashee Rice. I always think about it like this. Obviously, when guys do something as stupid as he did off the field, they obviously have to pay the consequences, not only from the legal standpoint, but from the league standpoint. But I said this when Zeke got suspended for his situation. I was like, man, y'all almost doing them a favor. like you're gonna get Zeke back halfway through the season with fresh legs.
Back half. Because
Like,
they had Pollard, they had some dudes.
Yeah. So, like, if this happens with Rashee Rice, like, let's just say they're just, coasting through the season, and then you drop Rashee Rice into the team in November. Like, they just got that much better. So I understand the point of, like, hey, man, we have to discipline you guys and everything like that, but it almost does the teams that played them earlier in the season a disservice. So, like, let's just say, like, oh, man, the Raiders beat them in week 3 or whatever, but they got to play them in week 15, and guess who they got week 15 coming out there? All right, you got to deal with Hollywood Brown. You got to deal with Rashee Rice. You got to deal with Kelsey. You got to deal with Mahomes. You got to deal with the young receiver out of Texas. Like, things just got that much worse. So it is what it is, but he definitely needs to be disciplined for this for sure.
Keep in mind, I know probably some Bengals fans who are used to having an embarrassment of riches at wide receiver, on their roster. They're probably laughing at the, Hollywood Brown, we're supposed to be afraid of him, Rashee Rice. But the bottom line is they've won back-to-back Super Bowls with one of the least impressive wide receiving corps in football. It's tough to win a Super Bowl. It's even tougher to win back-to-back Super Bowls. They're efforting to win their third straight Super Bowl, and this might be the best wide receiving corps that they've had since Tyreek Hill was there. And I don't even think it's the best wide receiving core, but that's the point. This is better than the core that they've had the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. I agree with you. It could almost be looked at as, okay, we're going to, be dropped in almost like a midseason trade, acquisition, late in the season. But hopefully it's not a glaring issue that leads to a very slow 2-month start to the season that would find themselves digging out of a hole. But I don't think many AFC fans like us, Browns, Steelers, Bengals fans, are really going to be hoping that that's the case as far as that's concerned. All right, Kenner and Cap, 1410 ESPN Radio, what's trending? How about this? So the OHSAA recently met regarding some potential rule changes for the upcoming OHSAA high school basketball season. Now, I know we still got to get we haven't even got to the fall sports season yet, but I thought it was interesting that one of the rule changes that the OHSAA addressed was flopping. Flopping was addressed
James
by
Harder.
the OHSAA as far as the upcoming 2024-25 high school basketball rule changes. We'll discuss that when we come back. I threw this out on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page earlier today. It's not like I watch an absolute ton of high school basketball, but I mainly watch a ton of it when we get towards the February, March, postseason run and all of that. I don't recall in the girls' state tournament, the boys' state tournament, even the tournament throughout, districts, regionals, whatever. I don't think flopping is that big of a deal in high school. I haven't come across that being a problem in high school. Why is the OHSAA addressing this? Is it a problem for those of you who do go to games on the regular? Do you think that this is something that needs to be addressed at the high school level? I know it is in college. I know it is in the pros. I am kind of curious people's thoughts about the flopping, the OHSAA addressing flopping in high school basketball here in the state of Ohio. We'll discuss that when we come back. We got cap or no cap coming up around the corner. We got some Dayton Flyers stuff to get into. Another Wright State Raider made his Major League Baseball debut just a few days ago, and he did it in very impressive fashion. In fact, this individual even had his dad on the call on the regional network calling his first or his second at bat that night and his second hit of the night. So we'll talk about that when we come back. Kenner and Kev, 1410 ESPN Radio, Chatterbox Sports on YouTube.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
The forecast, increasing cloud 65 tonight. Slight chance of a shower and thunderstorm 77 tomorrow. Rain on Saturday, high of 78. I'm Rick Schrempf with 1410 ESPN Radio.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Attention HVAC contractors. For nearly a century, R.E. Michaels' contractor-first approach has built trust and true partnerships with contractors across the country. Now their exclusive brand, AirTemp, is available to you and delivers homeowners the best value in home comfort. AirTemp equipment is manufactured to the highest standards and is known for quality, reliability, and value. Come visit your local R.E. Michael branch today or visit remichael.com to learn more.
Frickers doubles your savings when you use the Frickers app. Frickers doubles your points on everyday value menu item. Monday, boneless frickin' chicken wings. Double points on the Frickers app. Tuesday, traditional frickin' chicken wings. Double points. Wednesday, sirloin steak. Double points. Thursday, frickin' chicken chunks. Double points on the Frickers app. When you download the Frickers app, you can even earn points by choosing delivery. Frickers mobile app now offers delivery. Everyday values, double points, and delivery all by downloading the Frickers app. Your best value is always Frickers. Delivery participation and hours may vary by location.
Save big money and start your spring project with help from Menards. We offer a huge selection of body plants, veggies, and herbs to plant at home and grow yourself. Right now, all 4.5-inch body plants are on sale through May 5th. Head to the Menards Garden Center to get your garden growing and check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Oh, honey, it's our favorite leaf filter trusted pro, Matt. Matt, come in.
Hi, Mrs. Sparks. You wanted me to stop by? Is everything okay with your leaf filter gutter protection system?
Okay, of course, silly. We wanted you to stop by for dinner as our way of thanking you.
Yes, to thank you for that free gutter inspection, the free estimate, and what was the other thing?
That lifetime guarantee.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Sparks, those are just Leaf Filter's policies. Everyone who calls Leaf Filter gets a trusted pro to come out for a free gutter inspection and estimate. And every Leaf Filter installation comes with a lifetime guarantee.
So it's not just us?
No, sir. We don't want anyone to worry about clogged gutters ever again.
You mean everyone gets this level of service?
Everyone. They just need to visit leaffilter.com/listen to schedule their free inspection.
Okay, but you must be starving. You work so hard.
Ready to love your gutter protection as much as we do? Visit leaffilter.com/listen and get up to 30% off today.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Happy Mother's Day from the Flower Man. This year for Mom, we have arrangements starting at $12.99 and a dozen roses for only $12.99. Thank you, Flower Man, and thank you, Mom. We also have local flowers and tulips from the Netherlands. That's Holland. Go to flowermanflowers.com. That's flowermanflowers.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TOOL for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TOOL for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TOOL.
Staples stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store.
If you need new roofing, siding or gutters, skylights or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. See Lance Roofing and Siding at their new location at 6903 Dayton Springfield Road in Enon. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722. Online at lanceroofing.com.
Polking Bowling Centers are your connection for family fun or a great night out with friends. Join your friends in a fun summer league, adult, youth, mixed, and travel leagues. Polking Bowling Centers have a fun program waiting just for you. All Summer League bowlers get a BIB pass, and full Summer League bowlers get to go to the end of the league party, where you have a chance to win your share of $2,000 cash. Check a center for more details. Let the good times roll at Polking Lanes in Dayton, Polking Woodman Lanes in Kettering, and Polking Lane South in Centerville.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth, and if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. So if you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio, Chatterbox Sports on YouTube. So this was released earlier today, a press release by the OHSAA, the Ohio High School Athletics Association. A new definition and subsequent warning for faking being fouled, aka flapping, has been added to the NFHS basketball rules book for the upcoming 2024-25 season. The revision to high school basketball rules was one of 12 changes approved by the NFHS Basketball Rules Committee, last month. Now, the committee approved these changes. So faking being fouled, according to this, is defined in Rule 449.1. So remember that, okay, when you see it. According to Rule 449.1.
Sound like something we should play at the lotto.
Exactly. As when a player simulates being fouled or makes theatrical or exaggerated movements when there is no illegal contact. You want to know the problem I have with this, and I've explained this to you in the past. Okay, let's read what this is real quick. Okay? So it says, one more time, when a player simulates being fouled or makes theatrical or exaggerated movements when there is no illegal contact. You know what they just explained? They explained a charge. That's taking a charge, in my opinion, because, and again, I'm 5'5" and fat. I will never pretend to be a former legitimate basketball player, but I think I can relate to a lot more of our listeners than if I was a former NBA player. So let's be clear here. Let's all rewind back to our YMCA days, shall we? Let's all rewind back to our middle school days and high school days. We all had coaches teach us how to take a charge. Now, how do you learn how to take a charge unless you're being taught how to fall? They're not showing you how to fall. They're showing you how to position yourself to absorb the contact. They're showing you how to fall backwards. They even tell you to throw a little oomph in there too, to maybe sometimes flail your arms a little bit. That's a charge. So technically, every time a player takes a charge, and I mean, I'd say 95% of the time a player takes a charge, technically, that is a flop. Every charge is a flop to me, because the only time you can't, unless someone, to me, a player control foul. I hate the term charge. I hate charges in basketball. Because to me, a charge is a flop. If you're going to stand in front of someone, take the contact, but they're not actually knocking you down, you're just waiting for them to hit you so you could fall backwards, that is a flop. That's technically a charge, yes, but that's also a flop. To me, it's when someone like me gets in the way, and let's say Kev is dribbling down the court super fast in a fast break, and he goes up strong and barrels into me and knocks me over. That's either a foul on me or a player control foul on Kev. That, to me, is the definition of an offensive foul or a foul. But me trying to beat Kev down the floor so I could just stand up and stand in front of him and fall when he hits me, not fall because he hit me, that is a freaking flop, Kev. I hate the way we overcomplicate this. I don't remember where you sit on this. This isn't a hot take of mine. Kev, that's the definition of a charge, right?
Right. So
we agree? I'm shocked.
A little bit. A little bit.
Fair,
so
fair.
I think you're making it a little too simplistic because you equate it to a charge, but there's other instances where people are flopping. Case in point, James Harden, whenever he touches a basketball. Everything that James Harden used to get away with during his MVP years was flopping. You know, from the kicking out his legs when he shoots the ball to when he drives, and you know, that's also a flop. So I think it's more than just as simple as we're trying to crack down on the charges in high school basketball. I think it's the fact that a lot of young kids obviously watch the NBA. They're locked in to all the games that are going on, especially in the playoffs. So they're going to mimic what they do in the pro game, in the high school game. With that being said, obviously these high schoolers are not as talented as the players in the NBA. So if you got Timmy and Johnny,
they play defense in high school too.
Timmy and Johnny on the wing, and Timmy's trying to pull off the James Harden flop thing, and the referee's like just simply blowing the whistle, extending these games, I can understand why that could be super frustrating. But I would have preferred them, at least I didn't see this. This is something like, you know, normally, we're going to start taking a look at this even more. You know how we see this at the beginning of every whatever sports calendar. Like, we're going to hear this in the NFL. Like, all right, the one of the main things that they pressed on the referee meetings is, like, they're really looking for pass interference this year. They're really looking for offensive tackles to be holding Myles Garrett and T.J. Watt this year. And then early in the season, we're seeing all these holding penalties, seeing all these pass interference penalties. If this was something that they had talked about last season to say, hey, we're going to keep an eye on this. We're going to start tracking, like, how many kids are out here flopping. We're going to have an independent referee at each game to, like, I think that was a flop or something. If they're just blatantly coming out with this after the season and say, you know what, we're done with the flopping thing. We're going to institute it now. Instead of actually doing some type of study on it, I would have preferred that.
Yeah, and again, so as far as the OHSA is concerned, to me, what this looks like is, and again, I haven't heard of people complain about flopping in high school basketball to the level of which we do in college. Now, to be fair, I call basketball games for Wright State. And even when I'm not calling games I'm watching nothing but college. I mean, I'm obsessed with college basketball. I'm watching nothing but college basketball from November through March. So obviously, flopping exists in college, but I'm not as anti-flopping as other people are. To me, I mean, look, it's no different than to me, like in football, obviously, and you just alluded to some of those things that people don't like in that either. But I mean, to me, a hard count is a form of you're faking something to try to get someone to do something, right? Like, isn't that kind of that we should get rid of the hard count in football? It's a stretch. I get that. I'm joking to a certain extent, but at the same time, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, the way that they phrase that, one more time, okay, faking being fouled is defined according to Rule 449.1 as when a player simulates being fouled or makes theatrical or exaggerated movements when there is no illegal contact. Folks, that's 9. I'll move it down just so it's not as. I'd say 90% of charges are flops. 90% of charges are flops because I've seen the likes of Shaq barrel down in the lane and just totally plow somebody over. He's legitimately plowing them over, knocking them over. That's an offensive foul. That's an easy one to call. But I've also seen centers the size of Shaq step up in the zone, cover their gonads, square their shoulders, absorb the contact from a point guard slightly taller than me, fall backwards, and a charge is called. You think someone like me, no matter how fast I'm running down the lane, let's just use Jason Kidd as an example. I'm going back to that. The reason I'm bringing that up is because it was Jason McCullough who was down on the block, and Shaq just went barreling through him, and they called the offensive foul. And then the next time down the floor, it was Kerry Kittles who stepped up in the charge zone. Yeah, Kerry Kittles, who was very, very tiny. I mean, that was a very tiny team. Kerry Kittles, Keith Van Horn, very small Nets team back in the early 2000s that went to back-to-back finals, of course. But he stepped up. Shaq barreled through him. They called the offensive foul. It was the other way. Shaq stepped to test the shot, but he rolled into him. Shaq takes the charge, and they called the charge. And I said, there's no way Kerry Kittles knocked Shaquille O'Neal down. There's 10 out of 10 times. There's no way Kerry Kittles barreled through him, but they called it. They called it because that is a charge, but that is a flop according to this rule. So you know what they should do? They need to go back, just like the rule for the Heisman. If that is now a flop, they need to go back and retract all fouls from everyone's resumes throughout their playing careers in the 90s, 2000s. Just saying.
Well, luckily for Shaq, they won the finals.
That's all that matters. And luckily for Reggie Bush, he won the Heisman. So Nate says, good afternoon, fellas. Nate, hope you are well.
Nate, what's happening?
But yeah, like I thought that was interesting. And to your point, like so my point is I don't think flopping is a problem in high school right now. I think this might be a preemptive move because, as you know, when you see it in the pros, you see it in college, it usually trickles down into habits being picked up in the high school game and all that type of stuff. So I also think it's smart. I mean, I think you need to pick your spots, but I mean, I do think a very heads up play. If you see someone barreling down, kind of get on their level, kind of get low, let them, lean in, because a lot of times too, you're taught when you're dribbling, you want to absorb the defender. Sometimes you lean into the defender to create contact, to create separation so you can go up and finish. Well, as a defender, if I know that you're going to lean in with your shoulder, the second I see you lean down, hit me with your shoulder, I'm going to flail my arms and go back. Now, some are really, really good at it, and others are really, really bad actors. So it's just finding that sweet spot. But I know, look, everyone, when you think of flopping, it's the NBA that's bad more than anything else. College, you see it a lot more than high school, but the NBA is the worst at it as far as that's concerned. I mean, I don't think LeBron has ever been touched in the paint without having a tooth knocked out or something. So
the only thing I have against this is, don't the referees have enough on their plate already?
Especially at high school.
I just man, like, okay, so obviously we're watching a ton of NBA playoffs right now. There's been some questionable calls out there. I mean, the Lakers with D'Angelo Russell getting smacked in the face late in the game, that was a no call. Everything that happened with Knicks and Philly, these last couple games, there's been controversial calls at the end of these games. Now, they have replay in the NBA, obviously. They have replay in college basketball. They do not have replay in high school basketball. And a lot of these referees, I mean, they're making pennies on the dollar for all the traveling that they have to do this. And now you're adding this element to it. I just think there's a lot for the referees to take on responsibility-wise. And, I mean, shoot, you talk about, we had this back and forth about the shot clock. I think this is more of a hindrance than a shot clock would be. Like, this is a lot on their plate as well, just like an added layer. I also think, like, when we talk about the NFL and they just had the owners' meetings and the rule committee and they changed the kickoff rule and all that type of stuff, I think that's part of the problem with the NFL. There's too many rules for the refs to remember this and remember that. And we changed that from last year and this year to this year. Like, you're adding this to the plate of the referees in high school basketball, and I could just see this getting worse and worse and worse.
Kenner and Cab, 1410 ESPN Radio, Chatterbox Sports on YouTube. No doubt about it as far as that's concerned. And again, issues with begging people to officiate and everything else. They raise the officiating dues, by the way. That's always something people complain about too. You're trying to you talk about a lack a decline in officials, but then you increase the dues to be an official. It's like you're not really helping that cause nonetheless. So, but yeah, just thought that was interesting. Kev, it's because when I read that line, that's what made me want to talk about that today, because that could have just been a quick little blur. But when they described what a flop was, I'm like, that's a charge. That's a charge. Nate says, doing well, Kidder and Kev. Thanks. Hope I didn't miss the Flyers talk on the rundown. Let's talk Flyers when we come back.
Go, you do Flyers.
I had someone reach out and say, Kidder, what is it? Why do you have such a problem with Anthony Grant? And this isn't an anti-Anthony Grant segment, but this is what segued to me wanting to talk about this today. It had a lot more to do with, I'm less forgiving to coaches who, I'm a big fan of coaches who do more with less. And regardless of things not working out at Indiana, regardless of things not really getting off to a hot start with Rhode Island, I thought Archie Miller did a better job at Dayton than Anthony Grant did, because he didn't have the talent that Anthony Grant has had, and he did significantly more than AG has. Now, what I want to talk about when it comes to the portal or the NIL issue, because I also got another question thrown my way, what has hurt the Flyers more, the transfer portal or NIL? And Kev and I are going to discuss that when we come back. It's the Kenner and Kev Show, 1410 ESPN Radio, Chatterbox Sports on YouTube. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, what's up? I'm Elle Duncan, host of the Elle Duncan Show. If you're looking for a podcast that gives you a little bit about a lot and a lot about nothing, you've come to the right place. There's pop culture, there's sports, really anything that we find particularly interesting that you're talking about on social media. And oh yeah, I do it with this guy named Gary Streisky, who's a homie.
Hey, Elle, what's going on? Thanks for the mention. Can I get on the graphic now?
No. Follow and listen to the Elle Duncan Show wherever you get your podcasts.
Looking to step up your Mother's Day flowers? The Home Depot has an idea.
Let Mom's Green Thumb do some digging with colorful flowers, pots, and premium soils to bring out the most in her patios, walkways, and gardens. Right now, get Vigoro potting soil just $8.97 for strong, healthy, vibrant plants, indoors and outside. Shop our wide selection online and pick up your order in-store and give Mom the gift of a beautiful garden. Get Vigoro potting soil just $8.97 at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. See homedepot.com/delivery for details.
The George and Sarah Gammon 5K Run, Walk, Discover event is happening Saturday, June 8th in Springfield. Support the historic Gammon House and celebrate Juneteenth by participating in this fun event. Registration for the 5K is only $35. Register before June 1st and receive a complimentary t-shirt. Kids and families can also participate in a free discovery walk. Plus, enter a drawing to win a $200 Nike gift card. Visit GammonHouseOH.org to register and for more information.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like choosing Derek Jeter as the pinch hitter for your baseball team.
Jeter, you're in. We need a home run.
I'll give it a try. I've swung a bat once or twice.
That's out of here. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
At Progressive, we know money can't buy you happiness. But money did help you buy an RV, which means an excuse from working Saturday with your insufferable coworker, Dave. So money is helping you listen to birds chirp instead of Dave chirping about how his toddler is fluent in 3 languages. And it's also why you'll be smelling pine trees in the air, not Dave's tuna melt reheating in a microwave. So save money by bundling your RV or boat insurance with home or auto from Progressive and buy more happiness, or something close to it. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Finding a project? Contact Ohio 811 at least 48 hours before you dig to stay safe and avoid costly damages. No matter the size of your project, contact Ohio 811 for every dig, every time.
It's Kubota Orange Days. Shop the year's best selection of Kubota tractors, zero-turn mowers, and utility vehicles, including the #1 selling compact tractor in the USA. And now, through June 30th, get 0% APR for 84 months and up to $2,500 off BX23S tractors. See the details at KubotaOrangeDays.com.
Stop by Columbus Equipment in Columbus, Dayton, or Toledo to see a full line of Kubota construction equipment. Or check us out online at ColumbusEquipment.com.
Visit us at Hollywood Gaming Dayton this spring for the playoff action and the return of baseball. We've got the biggest screens, the best food and drinks, plus we're giving away Penn bonus play and prizes to Penn Play Rewards members. Not a member? Join by downloading and registering for the Penn Play app from the App Store. Unlock the fun, including a chance to win up to $2,000 in Penn cash. Make Hollywood Gaming Dayton your spring sports viewing headquarters. Must be in the state of Ohio to wager and over 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966 or visit org.ohio.gov for help.
Have you experienced foot or ankle pain during or after sports, running, or exercising at the gym? Nagging aches in your foot or ankle that won't go away? Podiatric physicians can provide you with important foot care solutions, shoe inserts, or show you how to support your feet and ankles so you're able to compete or exercise comfortably. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and have been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years. To find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio and Chatterbox Sports on YouTube. So we had a question sent into the show on the Chatterbox feed, and this comes from, and by the way, if you want to tune in to watch the show and interact with us in the chat section, you could do that by heading to Chatterbox Sports on YouTube right now. That's where you can watch the Kinner and Kev show weekdays from 3 to 6 or 3 to 5, of course. So take advantage of that now because one of our listeners in the Chatterbox feed, Kev, Slick1981.
What up, Slick?
Underscore after that. Slick, this is why I like YouTube. It's the cool little, like, the usernames. Like, Facebook, it's, David Shaw. It's like, but now we got Slick Rick over here. Slick1981 underscore says, he's asking a question for a friend. Just wondering if other cities like Cleveland have guys on their podcast or radio that are not fans of their hometown team. And, of course, he gave examples, me being one, you being another. And it's not Tracy, it's Trace. But he put, but Trace. So Trace is catching strays. Trace is off. Trace works his ass off. Trace is done for the day. He's off. He's off. All right? And he's catching strays today.
To answer his question, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm not a Browns fan. I'm a Steelers fan. So I get you. I understand. But to answer your other part of your question, yes, Aaron Goldhammer, he is a Denver Broncos fan. He is a Denver Nuggets fan, and he hosts up there at ESPN Cleveland and covers the Browns and Cleveland Cavaliers. So to answer your question, absolutely.
And at the same time, this idea that when we apply for these jobs that there is a box of, hey, here's the job pre-qualifications. You must pass your drug test. You must not have committed any felonies. You must be a Bengals fan. Like that's not a thing. I get why fans ask that, but at the same time, being a fan of the teams in the city, I mean, does that help? Yes. Oh, the only pre-qualifications on applications for stuff like that is knowledge of the teams. And I feel like we're pretty knowledgeable of the Cincinnati Bengals. We're pretty knowledgeable about the Cincinnati Reds and others. And the thing is, Slick Rick 1981 _ whatever you're. And I don't know how you're asking. I have a habit of reading things in a confrontational way. So maybe you're not asking. Maybe you're just genuinely asking. But at the same time, I'm a Cincinnati Reds fan. So do I get any points for that?
I'm a Cleveland Guardians fan.
You know what? We need to get rid of Kev's a problem. Kev, I mean, he doesn't like any of the Ohio teams outside of Ohio State. So, you like the Cavs. But you go to Cleveland, Yeah.
I'm only welcome in Cleveland in the summer and, and during NBA playoffs, not during the fall. Not during the fall. Everybody wants to kick me out of my own hometown. But no, I mean, you said, so I'm assuming that, they're chiming in from Cincinnati. But, I mean, Cincinnati, we're going to wait till the fall. Wait till the fall when we're starting to talk a whole bunch of college football. It's going to be a whole bunch of Ohio State talk.
Well, they wouldn't. Yeah, they're going to be really upset.
I-O, baby.
I've always found the dynamic in Cincinnati interesting. Cincinnati is the only part of Ohio that does not bow down to the Buckeyes.
Them in Toledo.
So Toledo's another one.
Yep.
So, and before you guys think I'm going to mock that, I am not. I've actually always appreciated that. Because I've always found that odd. Because I've even been on UD's campus many times, and I see as diehard as UD fans are. Like, there's a lot of Ohio State stuff on UD's campus. Like, I've been to the Bearcats campus. I've covered games, but there's not Ohio State anything. In fact, every time we've tried to talk Ohio State here, you can go find a negative comment in there somewhere. So I'm actually not mocking it. I appreciate that. I appreciate that the city of Cincinnati is so passionate about their sports that they've even created a little bubble in there. Like, hey, great, Ohio State, but we have Cincinnati, we have Xavier for basketball as well. So kudos to them for that. I'm not mocking that. We'll deal with that when we get to the fall and we talk more college football, of course. But I actually think that's kind of cool that they are that passionate that they put a force field around their city to not let. But maybe we'll brainwash you guys. I don't know. I don't know who's going to win that battle, but we're going to be joined by Paul Keels every single week. We got Keith Byers on every week. There's Buckeye Roundtable. There's the Ryan Day Coaches Show. There's the the Buckeye Live pregame shows that we do. So there's a lot of stuff that we do a lot.
We are the home of the Buckeyes.
We are Dayton's radio home of the Ohio State Buckeyes. So there you go. Drew Garrison said, "Sorry, I don't have a cool enough username for you, Kinner." Boring old Drew Garrison, not Slick Rick 1981 /_.
Name 2 Slick Rick songs.
I can't. Why'd you just leave? God dang, you set me up for failure. I mean, this is why we got to do cap or no cap coming up around the corner.
Songs?
No, I can't. Now, if you play
name one.
No, I can't because
yes, you can.
No, but I've told you this before. I don't know how many of you are like this when it comes to movies and music, but I can't name actors or actresses. I can't name musicians, singers, rappers. I can't name. But I know that song. I don't know the name of it. I don't know who sings it. I don't know anything about. I don't do the background information.
Do you know who Slick Rick is?
Yeah, he's in the chat. So all right, next up, no, educate me.
It's a rapper from the 80s, man. Children's Story. I know you heard that song before. You remember the song from Montel Jordan? This is how we do it.
Yes.
That beat originated from his song.
Montel Jordan. No, I'm joking.
I give up. I give up, man. I give up.
Oh, man. Drew Garrison said, by the way, username that's available is the I Hate Kinner 937. That's available.
It's available.
Not for much longer. You better go get that. Maybe my burner. Maybe that'll be my burner.
Ooh,
Kevin Durant and go get, my burner will be I Hate Kinner 937. there you go. So I had a question sent to me yesterday. We were off because the Reds preempted the show yesterday. We were joking 2 days ago about, name the Kinner's hate list, which I do feel bad that we called it the hate list, but it is what it is. It's a past segment. But so everyone knows I'm not the biggest Anthony Grant fan from a basketball perspective. Everyone's like, oh, he's such a nice guy. I'm sure he's a great guy. There are a lot of coaches who I don't think are good at their job, but they are amazing human beings. I don't know why we have to always return it with, well, they're good people, trying to make me sound like a bad person because I'm not a fan of a coach that has underachieved, in my opinion, and that's where the back and forth has come from. So people asked why, and then the other question that was thrown at me from this person who sent this in was, what has hurt the Dayton Flyers more, the transfer portal or NIL? And I had to think about it for a second because the easy answer right off the bat is the portal, especially when you look at the fact that they have lost Kobe Elvis. They lost Kobe Brea, which, by the way, Kobe Brea, officially a Bearcat, created a little bit of drama. He said it was his dream school, so of course Dayton fans got a little uncomfortable and
Wildcat.
What did he say? Sorry, what did I say?
Bearcat.
Bearcat.
We
Oh, sorry. You know
Cincinnati.
me, big Bearcat fan. Look, Cincy on the shirt. Yeah, I'm really maybe. Yeah, you know me, Cincy this, Cincy that. Sorry, guys. Wildcat fans. Yeah. So, anyways, because of their dream school, and then the egos of Flyer fans and stuff got so they started taking shots at him, and Bray had to put a tweet out that said, "Man, 4 years there, and this is what I get." And so the Flyer faithful have not been very faithful, but then again, they feel like he wasn't very faithful either. So I'm just saying, I don't know what the right way is to handle these situations. I feel like as a fan, when you invest as much emotionally and financially into a team, I feel like you have the right to be upset when a player makes a best decision for himself. Just because a player makes the decision that's best for him doesn't mean that has to 100% be supported by a fan base, but it does not mean you get to make things personal and take personal shots on social media either. But I was not a fan. When Tanner Holden left Wright State, I had to say the right things, but I was not very pleased with Mr. Tanner Holden when he left for Ohio State, although it made it a little easier to root for him because he did go to Ohio State, the other basketball team I follow, so that helped, right? But then when he came back, I was completely happy. Like if Kobe Brea had some of these guys get 9 years of eligibility. If he came back after next year, I'm sure you guys would welcome him with open arms, right? So the bottom line is I just thought that was interesting that fans are like, where are you with that too? Like, I know, I get it. You're a nicer person than me. But at the same time, I'm not saying that fans are wrong for voicing their displeasure with him for leaving, but they felt a certain way when he said he gets a chance to play for his dream school. It's kind of been it's been a humbling offseason for the Flyer faithful, if you will.
I'll let you guys behind the scenes a little bit. My godson, Reggie, he's now enrolled at Oklahoma, done the whole spring ball, everything like that. I don't offer him a ton of advice because he has parents for all that type of stuff. I've just tried to be the cool uncle and, be there when he needs me and that type of stuff. But the one thing I told him before he left was just remember, it's conditional. These people in this room, your parents, your brothers, your uncle, your grandparents, they love you no matter what. But the people that you're going to play football for, it's conditional. It's all based off of what you do for them. You make plays, they love you. You drop an interception that you could have took back to the house, they hate you. You miss a tackle, they hate you. Make a game-saving tackle, they love you. It's all conditional. We are, as fans, it's all conditional. You do good, we love you forever. You mess up, we hate you. It's that simple. It is that simple. So remember why you're there. And remember, it's conditional. And for us as fans, you're right, it is conditional. Like, the UD fans have every right in the world to be upset that he left to go play for Kentucky. I mean, in my mind, since I'm not, a quote-unquote UD fan like that, I mean, shoot, it's Kentucky. It's a storied program. I'm sure he's getting a couple dollars as well to go to Kentucky. I really can't be mad at it just from the outside looking in. But I am not a season ticket holder to the UD Flyers. I am not a student at UD. So my perspective is slightly different from theirs. But I can understand where they're coming from. I mean, shoot, when guys transfer out of Ohio State, when guys transfer from Wright State, I'm always like, dang, dude, like, really? Come on, man. Like, this was going to be your year. Why are you leaving now? Or especially like on a football team, like, dude, you're one injury away from playing. This is football. Dudes go down every single week. You could be starting the following week. Why are you leaving after one season? But guess what? Somebody will be there next year. The freshman class is coming in to replace him. So hopefully in the case of UD, that coach is able to replace Kobe Bryant with more talent, because that's really all it's about.
And that is a perfect segue into the whole question about which has hurt the Dayton Flyers program more, the NIL or the transfer portal. And I 100% have to say NIL, and here's why.
Okay.
Because, in my opinion, just based on it, so I was always a big Archie Miller fan, and I said this earlier too. I know it didn't work at Indiana. It hasn't been off to a hot start at Rhode Island, but that does not. Yeah, I was going to say, go back to that. What has not gone right at Indiana and Rhode Island does not take away what went right during his time here at Dayton. So what always made what the Archie storylines were so impressive is because they weren't always the favorite. And to be honest, and this happens for a lot of programs, and sometimes maybe this isn't an AG thing. I mean, we saw that the last year of Archie Miller, there was a lot of expectation. That team was supposed to be a top 25 team. Every time they would crack the top 25, they would lose instantly, and they would take a step back, and that was always the big thing. Like, what made the Flyers such a fun team early on in the Archie run was the underdog, the little engine that could mentality of I think I can, all that fun stuff, right? Like, that's what made them so fun. There was no 4 and 5 stars. There was no top 100 ESPN recruits. There was no Tumani Kamaras and obviously Obi Toppins and Deron Holmes. But there was really, really good, exciting, fun, lovable players that came in as freshmen and that were here for the entire journey. You even added some transfers. Of course, Charles Cook was a great addition. You get Jordan Seibert. You know what I mean? Like, it was a complement of your base, complemented by great players who transferred to the program, and that's what made that Archie run so fascinating and so fun. And it just was, those rosters were nowhere nearly as talented as the rosters that Anthony Grant has had during his tenure here at Dayton. That's not an opinion. That is a fact. So when I said why I think NIL has hurt Dayton more than the portal has always been friendly to the Flyers program during the Anthony Grant era. In fact, when Anthony Grant took over for Archie Miller, of course, the cupboard was bared that very first season, but what Anthony Grant did a very good job of initially that really started to take fans to that next level, you started to get transfers from these high major programs. You were getting you were getting like the Chase Johnsons from Florida. You were getting the Chimunga from Nebraska. Okay, you were obviously getting Tumani Kamara from Georgia. You know what I mean? You were getting these big names. You were getting players from, I don't know, Chattanooga's not a huge school, but you were just getting a better prospect of player from the transfer portal. I mean, I'm looking at Rodney Chapman you got from Vanderbilt. All right, you're going down this list. So what's interesting about all this is when you look at the players that they are getting now, okay, why are the high major programs no longer transferring to Dayton? Now, I know that sounds silly because they just got Zed Key. Zed Key was in a very peculiar situation. It's not like a lot of other bigger schools were lining up for him because he only averaged 6 points per game last year. Now, we watch Ohio State basketball, so we know that that's a good get for Dayton. I'm not writing it down, but I don't think there was a lot of competition to acquire Zed Key's services as far as that's concerned. So here is the caliber of player that all of a sudden has shifted to Anthony Grant landing in the portal. You went from getting players from Florida, from Nebraska, from Georgia, from Vanderbilt, from high major programs, to now all of a sudden you are getting players. Let's see, you're getting players who are, of course, those are players who are leaving, but you are ending up getting players from the Enoch Cheeks. You get from the Horizon League. You're getting players from Buffalo. All right, we're getting excited about adding an addition from Marshall. Now, I get it. We're going to give him love because the Connor kid, he's a local kid. I completely get that. But you know who Dayton had to fight off to acquire Connor? Wright State. You go from competing, getting the biggest high major names out there, the biggest, you get players from the portal from the biggest high major programs out there, to now having to battle it out with Wright State to get Connor. And that's not a shot at Wright State. It may sound like a shot at Dayton, but times have changed. Well, what has changed? Dayton used to be a great opportunity for these players at high major programs because you would get it's not working at Florida, it's not working at Nebraska, it's not working at Georgia, but man, I can go to Dayton. I can play, in the A10, not the greatest conference, but it's still an okay conference. It's not a high major conference, but I can go there and still play on a great platform. I could play in front of 13,000 fans. All the reasons why Anthony Grant killed it with recruiting early on still exist today, but why is it not working? How come you go from getting the players from Florida and Nebraska and Georgia and all of this to now having to rely on players coming in to save the day from Buffalo and the Horizon League and Robert Morris? That's not a shot. That's the reality of it, okay? So when I look at that, Kev, the arena's only gotten better. The fan base hasn't gotten worse. In fact, the A-10 has gotten weaker, so the opportunity to get to the NCAA tournament has only increased even more, and they haven't capitalized on that. So I say all of this. The portal has always been friendly to the Flyers. The only thing that has changed is now NIL is involved. I feel like NIL has hurt this team more than anything. Yes, players leave to maybe find a better opportunity. Kentucky's a better opportunity, but financially, that's having your cake and eating it too, right? But like you're looking at other players. I mean, now instead of getting players from high major programs, for the first time ever, Dayton's losing players to high major programs. They lost Kobe Elvis to Oklahoma. You just lost Kobe Bray to Kentucky. You used to get those players from the high major programs to come to you. Now you're losing them to those high major programs. That to me, Kev, although there's other outlier issues that lead to a departure, why all of a sudden now is this happening? I don't think it's a coincidence that it's overlapping with the NIL era in college athletics.
I'm still stand on it being the transfer portal that's quote-unquote hurting the Flyers, because if you look at how college basketball is now, the best players are the transfer players from smaller programs. You look at that UConn roster. That UConn roster is flooded with guys that, the no-star guy was the best player on the team.
Yep.
So they're basically using the mid-major programs as feeder systems. The high major schools are. So you go out there and show your worth, and then we'll come get you on the rebound. And now that is making it that, it's not a freshman or sophomore is transferring out. It's a dude that's been at UD for 4 years. He's been seasoned. You know what he doesn't have to do when he goes to Kentucky, the new coach Pope? He doesn't have to worry about this kid going to class, because he already know how to go to class. He probably already graduated. So he probably taking grad classes online. So you ain't got to worry about that. You don't have to worry about him not being about his business. You don't have to worry about him going out to parties and chasing tail all night, because he got that out of his system. He's focused on basketball and focused on trying to make his next goal happen.
Wildcat tail,
It might be a little different.
It might be different than flyer tail. I don't know.
It might be.
In the chat, let's have a poll. Flyer tail, wildcat tail. What we got? We had two married guys here. We have to live vicariously through you guys, all right? Help us out.
So, you're dealing with a way more mature basketball player. You're dealing with, an officially a young adult that is about his business. And I think, you just look at some of the guys that Kentucky was able to get. These are all upperclassmen. Now, Arkansas, they're still going the younger guy route. Granted, most of those dudes are coming from Kentucky to go to Arkansas. But I think, that's the new path for these high major teams. They're going to let you, quote unquote, go to UD and Wright State or, or whatever school, play basketball there, let them develop you. And then we're going to come and woo you with our big tradition and our big bank accounts. And you're going to come play for us when you're at your best that you're ever going to be. So I think it's really about that, because if you look at how many guys are getting skipped over coming out of high school, there's so many guys that are going to the D2 route because there aren't enough scholarships out there, because the Power 5 schools are going ahead down there and using all their roster space on older transfers from other schools. And then the smaller schools are trying to supplement their roster through the transfer portal as well. So the younger guys that are coming out of high school have nowhere else to go but the D2 route. And then their goal is, okay, after I play the D2 for a year or two, then I'll transfer over here. And then after I show my worth over here, then I'm going to transfer to the big time, and then I'll get on March Madness, and then maybe I'll get drafted. So I still think that it's always going to be the transfer portal that's basically going to be the feeder system, like a big circle.
No, and it may be the new problem moving forward, but I think NIL has a ton to do with it. But the portal, and we call it the portal now, but before, even the option to transfer and all that stuff. And I see people in the chat. Nate says, Chase Johnson was terrible. No. This isn't. And by the way, here's why my pushback with Flyer fans when they do this. Well, Chase Johnson was terrible. Chimunga was soft and all this stuff. It doesn't matter. When the press release from Dayton was put out on Twitter and Facebook, we're getting a 4-star player from Florida transferring to Dayton. Oh, my gosh. Dayton 6, blah, 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 all this stuff. You guys were excited about it. You were excited about Jordy Chimunga. You were excited. Jordy, and by the way, nothing against Jordy. I like Jordy. Jordy, great personality. But Jordy Chimunga, Chase Johnson, obviously Tumani Kamara, all these guys, all of that. It may not have worked at Dayton, but that's kind of my problem with Anthony Green. Like that's my problem. Like with the Flyers, who have all of this talent, they get all this high major talent coming in, and they have one tournament win in 7 years. Now I'm moving the goalpost because before it was they have no tournament appearances in 7 years. Well, they got that tournament win. Cool, super. But like I said, there's a lot that's changing in college athletics, and I think that right now this has been probably the most humbling offseason in Dayton Flyers history. And that's not a hot take, and you could take that as a shot, but I really do, because I had been convinced by so many that this program is untouchable, that players, it's a destination school. Players aren't coming here to leave, and that was the case. The players that would leave Dayton, they would go to San Fran, all right? They would go, they'd go to New Mexico. Not bad programs, but they weren't like all getting these high major offerings or whatever. Now, all of a sudden, in a matter of one off season, you're about to lose a guy to the NBA. You lost a player in Kobe Elvis to Oklahoma, and you just lost Kobe Bryant to Kentucky. And you last year in the portal, you got a guy from Buffalo. You got a guy from Robert Morris in the Horizon League. Like, times are a-changing. And it is interesting. I thought that this stuff would impact a program like Wright State more, and it is impacting them, Kev. But I feel like it's derailing Dayton because they're having to recreate who they are.
Yeah.
They're like Wright State, Horizon League schools. They've always had roadblocks in front of them. They've always had to overcome. Man, if this player gets this idea that, if this player gets too good, they're going to poach him. That's always existed even before the portal.
Right.
Now that exists in Dayton's world. Before that didn't exist in Dayton's world. You get a Chris Wright, he's yours, right? Like Chris Wright was one of the biggest stars in all of college basketball. You didn't have to worry about losing him, right? Like you didn't have to worry about that stuff back in the day. Now, Scoochie Smith, you didn't have to worry about that with him, right? But now you do. And that's something new to Dayton. Wright State's been used to dealing with this kind of pressure and all that stuff. But the important thing is making sure you have a foundation so if a player leaves and it doesn't work out, that there's a potential return. Wright State benefited with Tanner Holden, this, that, and the other. But to your point, though, there's a different situation. Brea, Elvis, 4 years at their particular school, and they chuck the deuces when it's all said and done.
It's all conditional, baby. It's all conditional.
That's why the big joke, once a Buckeye, always a Buckeye, unless you're Tate Martell.
Unless you're Tate Martell. It only matters if you're good. If you're good, you're always down. If you're bad, then we'll act like we never knew you. That's how it works, man. It's conditional, man. We're fans.
It's funny because, and Bengals fans, you'll appreciate this, like the Joe Burrow thing. I know you guys think he walks on water, but you got to understand, back in the day, he was not walking on water. He couldn't win the starting job at Ohio State. Now, you may think I'm taking a shot here. I'm not. I'm using this as an example. There was a quarterback named Tate Martell at Ohio State, and, if Urban recruited a guy, he had to be great, right? Well, Tate Martell, so Ohio State fans, when Joe Burrow left, no one really made a stink about it. Obviously, an Ohio kid, so some had a problem with him leaving or hated that it didn't work out, but they made the right decision. Dwayne Haskins was the right player to pick over him at that time. But, to Ohio State's credit, Dwayne Haskins goes on to have a Heisman contending season. Joe Burrow has an okay year at LSU year one, and then we all know what happened year two. But then all of a sudden, Buckeye fans weren't claiming Joe Burrow after his first year at LSU. But then the second year, oh my gosh, that's a Buckeye right there. It took a Buckeye quarterback to win a SEC championship and all, win a national championship and all this. And I'm like, oh yeah, that once a Buckeye, always a Buckeye, unless you're Tate Martell. Tate Martell flamed out. Never could make it at any of his next destination stops, and no Buckeye fans claim him. Why not? Oh, because you only got to take credit for the ones that do well. Well, we do that with all of our sports teams.
Conditional, man. It's all conditional.
Conditional. Kinner and Cab, 1410 ESPN Radio. Chatterbox Sports on YouTube. We'll be right back.
Have you heard? Bath Creations has moved to their new location and showroom at 8741 North Kimmel Road in Clayton. This gives you even more opportunity to see the incredible amenities and craftsmanship Bath Creation offers. With Bath Creations, you get a beautiful, modern bathroom that is safe, comfortable, and affordable. Attention first responders, veterans, and active military. Save an additional $500 off your purchase. Visit at 8741 North Kimmel Road in Clayton or online at mybathcreations.com and get a new bath today.
This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When it comes to my lifestyle and diet, I don't always make the smartest choices.
Touchdown! Woo! Hey, how about another round and some more chips?
But when it comes to taking care of my liver, I do make one very smart choice. Active liver tablets from New Nordic. I used to have real issues with my liver, and at my last checkup, my doc was concerned about my numbers. But since adding a once-a-day active liver tablet, my gut's better, I feel great, and my doctor's happy. I ask a lot of my liver, so the least I can do to say thanks is a daily dose of active liver.
Active Liver is one of many award-winning health products from New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Scandinavia. Purchase at Amazon.com or for a volume discount, visit newnordicusa.com. Available as a tablet or delicious sugar-free gummy. Protect and help your liver the easy and effective way with Active Liver at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
You don't need a job site, you need a hiring platform. Indeed lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from one place. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Kenner and Cav back with you here, 1410 ESPN Radio, Chatterbox Sports on YouTube. Cav, you know what a lot of coaches and teams are about to start running after in the portal? They're going to be chasing after some booty.
General?
I mean, yeah. Well, damn. So apparently Oklahoma quarterback General Booty has entered the NCAA transfer portal.
You know I got the inside track out there in Sooner Country, right?
Oh, I mean, yeah. So what was a lot of... Oklahoma not a fan of that booty? They kicked that booty to the curb?
Yeah, Booty was not...
Booty running out on
the
him?
leader in the house, so to speak.
Stinky Booty? That would happen?
Yeah, he's hitting the portal. He's hitting the portal.
What a wild name. So
That's
people are going to be lining up to chase that booty.
That's his government name, too. Like, him and his parents said, you know what? General Booty.
Yeah, I mean... If your last name was Booty, what do you name? Like, because people criticize. Well, I mean, your parents aren't doing him any favors, but like Jim Booty, Kevin Booty. I mean, it would be worse to name him Justin Booty.
Man, there's really nothing you can do. I mean, what do you do? I mean, like the one kid with the one name out there in Indiana. That starts with a K.
Oh, and you know what? That family makes me a little uncomfortable because they're like having a little too much fun with it.
You know,
and it's like when they have like a black host that's like leading the way, they get a little too comfortable, Kev. They get a little too comfortable. Everyone knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, you know what? I wasn't minding them because I mean it's their name. It's their name. I felt more uncomfortable that RG3 was egging them on. Like, that made me feel even more uncomfortable.
Yes, because then if they do slip,
yeah,
you know.
Like, he's trying to set them up to do something that they normally wouldn't do, you would hope.
So, but yes, I mean there's some crazy names out there, but the General Booty.
This is good. I mean, you're talking about him. He is the nephew of former NFL quarterback John David Booty. I remember him, and third baseman Josh Booty.
So you're saying there's a lot of great booty in that family.
Indeed.
Interesting.
Athletic booties.
Interesting.
Do you ever think about that though? Like
about booty? Booty, rocking everywhere. Who sings that? Slick Rick? Who we got?
Bubba Sparks.
That one I did know, but that was from a joke from earlier. I don't need help sounding any more white than I am. Oh, white. What you got?
No, I often have these conversations with my mom about
You talk about booty with your mom?
No, I do not.
Let you
names and things like that. How'd you and Larry just decide on Kevin? Like, what went into that conversation? Like, I often ask those things. Like, so, what made y'all come up with that? Like, I couldn't come up with nothing, better than Kevin. I like my name, but it's very plain Jane. I'm a very curious person like that. And then it led me down to a total different rabbit hole that I did not want to think about my parents at all, 9 months prior to me.
Oh, yeah, I'm a Valentine's baby.
Oh.
Born in November.
Hey.
Whatever month you're born in, just rewind 9 months before and just try to figure it out. What was going on that month? What was the celebratory, that they got the house paid off.
Mom was celebrating her birthday.
Oh, so you have it's even wilder, too, when all the kids are born within the same month. That's the one time General Booty reporting for duty. I'm just saying.
My cousins, all their birthdays are in May. But they're all 1 year apart.
The month of May, this is a horrible month for me, by the way. I mean, it's a great month. Shout out to my mom and to my wife. But, the month of May, I got my wife's birthday.
Cha-ching.
My wedding anniversary's in
Cha-ching.
May. My mom's birthday.
Cha-ching.
And Mother's Day.
Cha-ching.
Yeah.
Good thing you work here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it just rains money in radio. In fact, for those of you out there, a little financial advice. If, you're in a job that doesn't pay well and you're like, man, what can I do to just take my financial dreams to the next level? Get in radio. You have so much money you won't know what to do with. Just throwing that out there. But with the General Booty thing, it's kind of funny. The wildest names, the funniest names for athletes coming into the 2023 season. I didn't even mean to go here with this, but I mean we just scrolled. Yeah, we are here. So obviously the coolest name for college football players heading into last year's college football season, General Booty, #1 overall. I mean, #1 booty in all of college football. So there you go. But DeColdis Crawford.
Yes, the wide receiver. I believe he transferred from Nebraska already.
So
yeah.
I mean, at this point, I mean, we're just saying wide receiver DeColdis Crawford. But yes, that's a pretty badass name as far as that's concerned. How about the tight end from Florida International University? Yeah, you know who that is. Rowdy Beers.
I like that.
Like, okay, when your last name's Booty, it's tough to find a name that's not going to make you sound goofier than you already are. But when your last name's Beers, I still blame his. He looks like a rowdy. We're gonna name him Rowdy Beers. Like what? Like, I mean, cool name. It got you on this list. I don't know if he's even good, but at least when you're on the cut list, you'll have the coolest name on the cut list or on the roster. I mean, let's be positive.
I mean, could have been Bud.
Bud Beers. Yeah. Let's see. I love this one. So this defensive back from University of North Texas, his last name is Billity. What do you think his first name is?
Albert
Billity? No, it's his first name is Mo.
Mobility.
Mobility. I like it. Ooh, I'm not allowed to say this one. But if it's a name, no. But so his last name is Sillah, Sillah. But his parents named him this. His first name is Shitta.
Oh, man.
Shoota Sillah. Not shoot, but Yeah. So there's that. Yeah, that's the worst first name. Like that's how your parents are drunk when they name you, or they lost a bet. The Defiance College, they have a wide receiver named Darelis Clark. Not bad. Dude Person, a defensive back for University of Central Arkansas. Dude Person is his name. Dude. What up, dude?
Person.
What up, Person? What up, Dude Person? Mr. Person? What's your first name? First name, Dude? Dude Person.
Yeah, that's not going to fly.
There's a linebacker at Duke, and I mean, I got nothing. But linebacker at Duke. His last name is Factor. His first name, Memorable. No, his first name's actually Memorable. So, there's that. The wide receiver from Tulane, his last name is Watts. And his first name is Fat, P-H-A-T, Fat Watts.
I like it.
Fat Watts. Panda Askew, lineman from Charlotte. Tiger Shanks, lineman, UNLV. Tiger Shanks. I mean, does he look like a Tiger Shanks to you?
No.
No, he looks like a pizza delivery guy or something. I don't really know what's going on there. Cavassier Smoke. How is he number 12?
That's number 1. What you
Like
sipping on?
Cavassier Smoke.
Sipping on.
Running back at Kentucky.
That's a name. I mean, that's like, you have to play sports with that name.
So this next player, I know he was in the draft. I forgive me. I don't know who drafted this next individual, but Kool-Aid McKinstry, defensive back from Alabama. Where did Kool-Aid go to?
He went in the second round, but I can't remember who. Give me 1 second. Saints.
The Saints, okay.
Yep.
Like a little Kool-Aid McKinstry is his name. Nate loves the mobility. His last name is Billity, first name Mo. Mobility. That's still, right up there with one of the funny. All right, next one. Defensive back from LSU. His last name is Cage. His first name is Pig. Pig Cage. What are we doing? What are we doing with all of this? Jaden Muskrat. I don't know. That's on. These names must be getting kind of boring after this one. Jaden Muskrat's not that crazy.
Yeah, you can't do anything about that. Like, that's your last name. You can't do anything about your last name.
Oh, I love this one. Parker, how much your... Never mind. What's his last name? His last name is Titsworth. His first name's Parker. But see, that's another one. Parker's not a crazy... Like, we're just putting him on there because his last name's Titsworth. Just like the previous one, his last name was Muskrat, which isn't that crazy.
Yeah, that's not crazy.
Jade Muskrat, I don't know much about you, but Muskrat's not the craziest last name. I don't think you deserve to be on the list, to be honest. But Parker Titsworth, right up there.
I think you like saying that name.
Parker? What name? What name?
The last name.
Oh, Titsworth, yeah, So he played at Ohio. Yeah.
Go Bobcats.
There you go. This defensive back from North Carolina, Storm Duck. It's just a unique name. I don't know. It's, Storm Duck. Dodge Saucer, lineman from Iowa State. Dodge Saucer. Fish McWilliams, lineman from University of Alabama, Birmingham.
Not bad.
Chief Borders.
Chief Borders.
Yeah, the president at one point. Chief Borders, linebacker, Nebraska. But Chief Borders is his name. Major Burns. Safety from...
I know this name. Where did he play?
Go Tigers.
No wonder. I should have known that.
LSU. And there you go. But yeah, the what was the one that we liked the most? It was right by Kool-Aid McKinstry. It was Cavassier Smoke.
Yeah, that's a nice
The fact
name.
that Tiger Shanks is ranked ahead of Cavassier Smoke.
That's number 1.
Panda Askew is whatever. Okay. Fat Watts, all right. Memorable Factor. Dude Person, all right. DeRealist Clark. I can't say number 5, but Mobility. I don't know. Mobility.
That's cool.
Mobility. So my top...
Cavassier Smoke, like, that is top tier.
So I like... Cavassier Smoke would be 1.
Yeah.
I would put Mobility at 2. I like DeColdis Crawford.
Yes, that's number 2 for me.
And Rowdy Beers is just, it's unique. But Mobility is right there at the top.
Mobility would come in number 3 for me.
Dude Person, Memorable Factor, Fat Watts, Panda Askew, Tiger Shanks. I guess Kool-Aid McKinstry has to be up there too. But yeah, interesting nonetheless. All of this whole segment stemmed from just a simple breaking news update that Oklahoma quarterback General Butte has entered the NCAA transfer portal. So we now hopefully can return to some more mature sports talk radio on the other side. Booty, rocking it. We'll be right back. Kenner and Kev, 1410 ESPN Radio, Chatterbox Sports on YouTube.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather. The forecast, increasing clouds 65 tonight, slight chance of a shower and thunderstorm 77 tomorrow. Rain on Saturday, high of 78. I'm Rick Schrempf for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Oh, honey, it's our favorite leaf filter trusted pro, Matt. Matt, come in.
Hi, Mrs. Sparks. You wanted me to stop by? Is everything okay with your leaf filter gutter protection system?
Okay, of course, silly. We wanted you to stop by for dinner as our way of thanking you.
Yes, to thank you for that free gutter inspection, the free estimate, and what was the other thing?
That lifetime guarantee.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Sparks, those are just Leaf Filter's policies. Everyone who calls Leaf Filter gets a trusted pro to come out for a free gutter inspection and estimate. And every Leaf Filter installation comes with a lifetime guarantee.
So it's not just us?
No, sir. We don't want anyone to worry about clogged gutters ever again.
You mean everyone gets this level of service?
Everyone. They just need to visit leaffilter.com/listen to schedule their free inspection.
Okay, but you must be starving. You work so hard.
Ready to love your gutter protection as much as we do? Visit leaffilter.com/listen and get up to 30% off today.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Happy Mother's Day from the Flower Man. This year for Mom, we have arrangements starting at $12.99 and a dozen roses for only $12.99. Thank you, Flower Man, and thank you, Mom. We also have local flowers and tulips from the Netherlands. That's Holland. Go to flowermanflowers.com. That's flowermanflowers.com.
Progressive presents 10 things on a contractor's to-do list that are harder than getting a commercial auto insurance quote. Bidding a new client, giving an accurate estimate, finding affordable materials, getting a client to pay you for work you already did, getting a client to pay you, period, securing permits and workers and tools, getting those workers and tools to work together, and finding the perfect pair of overalls. Pockets, baby. But the easiest thing on a small business owner's to-do list? Seeing if you can save on commercial auto insurance. Get a quote in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, this is Michael, your service manager at Dave Arbogast Buick GMC in Troy, Ohio. I am inviting you to give us an opportunity to earn your business. We have expanded our hours to better meet your needs. We are now open until 6 p.m. during the week and 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. on Saturdays. We service all makes and models. We offer convenient shuttle service as well as pickup and delivery. Please visit us on the web at arbogastbuickgmc.com or in person. Exit 69 on I-75. Look for the giant American flag. I hope to see you soon.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-707-4522. 800-707-4522. 800-707-4522. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale is here. Get matched to your perfect bed and save up to $700 on select mattresses from top brands.
Frickers doubles your savings when you use the Frickers app. Frickers doubles your points on everyday value menu item. Monday, boneless frickin' chicken wings. Double points on the Frickers app. Tuesday, traditional frickin' chicken wings. Double points. Wednesday, sirloin steak. Double points. Thursday, frickin' chicken chunks. Double points on the Frickers app. When you download the Frickers app, you can even earn points by choosing delivery. Frickers mobile app now offers delivery. Everyday values, double points, and delivery all by downloading the Frickers app. Your best value is always Frickers.
Delivery participation and hours may vary by location.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
428 here in the Miami Valley. We welcome you back. It's the Kinner and Kev Show. Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM, Chatterbox Sports on YouTube. NBA playoff action continues tonight, and haven't seen anything officially come through, but Giannis Antetokounmpo and Dame Lillard are doing everything that they possibly can to play him. It could potentially be an elimination. Well, it's an elimination game regardless. Kind of like a trap game. It's an elimination game tonight, regardless of the outcome for them. But they're down 3-2. The Pacers have a chance to advance to the second round. Who would the Pacers have in the next round if they close out the Bucks tonight?
The Knicks or Philly.
Damn, Halliburton and company have a legit shot of getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's very interesting. Now, the Knicks are going to be favored. The Knicks, Philly will be favored in the next series no matter what. But
the Knicks better win tonight. So you don't want to just keep prolonging this series with Philly.
2-3-2 series. Right there. Obviously, Maxey kind of, we talked a lot about, I feel like Joel Embiid we've talked about for almost a decade now. It seems like he's been around forever. He's been around for quite some time. But Maxey, there's a reason years ago I thought it was done with Philly when they came out and said, we refuse to use him in any trade out there. Because remember, they were in a mess. They've always seemed to be in a mess. But they were trying to get another star to put alongside with Joel Embiid. They said they will anyone's up for business except Maxey. Everyone kind of rolled their eyes at that. Said, you're Philly, you're desperate, you can't hold on. Well, it might be paying off because if they are exiting the Joel Embiid era, which I don't think they're close to, but there's a lot of concerns about the health issues. They might have an underlying star that they could still build around when it's all said and done.
Yeah, Maxey's a baller. You don't want to go away from Joel Embiid, but I do think we are at the point of Joel Embiid's career where these need to be conversations about, load management with him for sure. Maybe not load management in playing games, but all right, you don't need to be playing 38 minutes a game. We need to have you out there for 25 minutes a game. And also, obviously he's not obese or anything like that, but any player that's over 7 feet tall that weighs over 300 pounds, that's a constant pounding on your feet, on your ankles, on your back, on every extremity of your body. So, hey man, have we talked about a changing of diet so we can, drop about 20 to 50 pounds, to prolong your career and cut your minutes down so we can have you during the most important part of the season. I don't think he's ever been a person that we've accused of oh man, he don't want to play. It's obvious he's always hurt. He's always going under the knife. So what can they do to say, all right, we're going to put the ball more in Maxey's hands, during the regular season and then morph it back to your hands when it matters the most in the playoffs?
Only 2 NBA playoff games tonight, the Bucks and the Pacers. Again, you have the Pacers up 3-2 looking to eliminate the Bucks here tonight. And you talked about the Knicks. They need to find a way to hold off Philly. You forced that game 7. It could be a nightmare. But they're up 3-2 right now, a chance to eliminate the Sixers and move on to the second round. But as far as the NBA playoffs are concerned, last Celtics blow out the Miami Heat. And again, the Celtics, everyone kind of was doom and gloom with them without Porzingis. It sounds like they may get Porzingis back by at least the Eastern Conference Finals, which is key. But with that being said, Boston, they win the series. They hold off the Miami Heat 4-1.
Smacked them as they should have. And I know everybody got super nervous when they lost that game 2 at home when Miami went berserk from 3. I think they hit 23 3-pointers. When you're not down that many threes, you should win a basketball game. But the thing about this whole NBA now, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it when we talk more about Pacers Bucks, but I've never seen a time in the NBA with this many calf strains. You got Dame calf strain and Achilles. You got Giannis calf strain. You got Porzingis calf strain. and I may be overreacting, but last time I heard a superstar of this magnitude dealing with a calf strain was Kevin Durant in the NBA Finals. They got down to the Raptors. He get that this is the finals. I'm going out there and I'm playing. He was cooking early and then El Papo. So just from my perspective, if I'm in the front office for the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm telling Dame, I'm telling Giannis, you guys are not playing. I'm sorry, you can't play. I'm not allowing you to play because the absolute worst thing that can happen for the Bucks is for that type of injury to happen to either one of them, because guess what? They're not playing next year. But if you say, hey, man, we're just going to go out there and roll what we got and let the chips fall where they may, you have next year. But guess what? If they pop their Achilles tendon, you don't have this year, and then you don't have next year either. And then also, on top of that, with Dame about to be 33, 34 years old, at that age, you pop that thing, it might be over. Your career might be over. Like we saw with Kobe, how Kobe came back. He wasn't Kobe Bryant anymore. He was Kobe still, but like it wasn't like we were used to seeing. So if I'm in charge of the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm making an executive decision saying you guys better wear your nice suit because you guys ain't playing.
Yeah, and again, and then let's say you do play and you win tonight and find a way to win this series, you're going to be facing these same issues again, even deeper into the calendar year.
And the games are coming so fast. Like these games, like people don't realize, like in the regular season, there's days in between these games. Like you play back-to-back here and there. The back-to-backs are cut down and during the regular season, but most of the time you're out there, 4 times a week playing basketball. In the playoffs, if you're playing a series like how the Bucks and Pacers are playing, they're playing on Friday, you're playing on Sunday, then you're playing on Tuesday, you extend it, now you're playing on Thursday. Like, and then on top of that, the travel back and forth, like these games start coming fast and furious. So like you said, if they actually win tonight and they push it to game 7, they'll be playing on Saturday. And then game 1 of the next round is on Monday. Like, so there's no rest for the weary. So like, I'm just a proponent of like, look, man, this season has been a complete debacle from the coaching situation to everything that's going on to now we're dealing with not only our number 1 guy, our number 2 guy, and our number 3 guy, and Middleton is dealing with an ankle injury as well, but he's well enough to go out there. That's like a normal type of injury. But like, man, it just seems like we're snake bitten this season, and that type of injury can just derail your whole franchise. So I would sit him.
How about Obi Toppin, former Dayton Flyer? He's having a pretty solid series.
Yes. Yes.
Obi Toppin averaging 10 points per game and 5 rebounds, 5 rebounds per game. Like, look, he's not a good defender, and that was the tape on him. That was the tail of the tape on him coming out of college. Was how was he? He can dunk. He's super athletic. Obviously, he improved his 3-ball from his, from one season to his last season at Dayton when he won National Player of the Year and all that fun stuff. But all the critique on him coming into the NBA has come to fruition. Like, he can't guard. Like, that's always the big thing. That's why he's still brought up in trade conversations. Obi is just good enough to have a prolonged NBA career. He's going to float around the league for a while. I don't think he's going to be a pacer long term, but he's one of those players that you include him in a trade, it's considered a good trade asset to use it, whatever. But that's a great stat line. When you're averaging double digit, but 10 points, 5 rebounds, and he's not starting. And by the way, you want to talk about efficiency. He's doing that, folks. Obi Toppin, give him a shout out. 18 minutes a game, he's averaging 10 and 5. Like, he can average 10 and 5 in 28, 30 minutes a game and still impressive, don't get me wrong. But you want to talk about efficiency and maximizing his time on the floor. 18 minutes is not a lot of time on the floor to average 10 and 5, and he's doing a pretty good job with that. Now, before the people out there, well, imagine if you give him more time. No, I think that's right around the amount of minutes he needs. And the fact that he's giving you that much of a high double-digit scoring clip, I think, is just a cherry on top for the Pacers at this moment.
Knocking down 40+% from 3, and the fans out there in Indiana love when he comes into the game. So I'm not sure if it's a whole bunch of UD Flyer fans out there or they just recognize, like, all right, the amount of energy that he brings to the court. So when I went to the game last Thursday, when he checked in, I mean, he came in there running like a deer like he always does. He had a nice little fancy spinny layup. He hit a couple threes, brought the crowd to their feet. I mean, if that's going to be his role in the NBA, it's not a bad role to have, like a guy that's going to be energy and give you over 10 points a game in just under 18 minutes. I mean, That's crazy efficiency, man. And I mean, shoot, he's doing a lot of things that, people said, we're questionable about. He's knocking down the open threes. He's knocking down the free throws at a 90+% clip. Like, he's going to be in this league for a very long time. And, the defense thing is, if you get to a team where you're required to play defense, I would assume that it would get better. The defensive scheme with the Knicks was definitely not for him, because the defensive scheme with the Knicks, especially playing with another guy that plays no defense in Jalen Brunson, as much as I love Jalen Brunson, he plays about as much defense as I do. You're required to do more as a big man. If he was required to be like how he was kind of like a UD, basically a free safety, basically, hey, man, roam all over the court, get steals,
the haters would
blocks.
always say, he's just cherry. That's why he's dunking so much. He's cherry picking.
Yeah,
but
that's
by design.
By design. Like, hey, man, you smack it off the glass and you get out and run. Like, don't worry about your man. Worry about the guy that's going to drive around me, pin his shot to the glass, and get out of here. Like, if he's required to do that, he'll do perfectly. But for the Pacers, nobody plays defense. They want you to miss shots. They want you to shoot, because all they want to do is get it out the net and get it down court and get another easy shot for themselves. They're playing no defense with the Pacers, and that's why the Bucks actually still have a chance to win this series without Giannis and Dame, because, Middleton at the game that I went, he went for 45. Like, he's getting any and every shot he wants. Now, on the flip side, the Bucks don't play no defense either.
Yeah, and the Obi thing, too. You know what's fascinating? Thinking back to his time at Dayton, people always thought I was taking a shot. I wasn't. What I was questioning was, when you are preparing to play the Dayton Flyers, when Obi was there, you got to know where Obi is. How is Obi always so GD wide open at the other end of the floor? Like there's one guy on the floor that you have to know where he's at all times. You know what? During that season, you know what? You give up a dunk in transition, to Landers, cool. Mike Sell, you give up a three to him, all right, fine. You got to find Crutcher a little bit, but I'd rather Crutcher get hot than let them feed off Obi's electric dunks that get the crowd going. Obi was just, of all those dunks he had that year, I'd say probably 35 to 40% of them were wide open at the other end, as you talked about. But no one checks down, no one checks down to the other end of the floor to know where he's at. It was always fascinating to me.
It's amazing. Like, it's always kind of like that thing that, like, the great players make stuff look so easy. Like Jordan or Kobe with the fadeaway turnaround. Like, man, that's all he doing is getting in the post and turning around and shooting. It can't be that hard. You know what I mean? People try that and miss it. Man, LeBron, that's all. It's just a pass. Is it just a pass, or is it that pass?
Was it game 4? Was the elimination game where LeBron got a rebound on the baseline and just literally turned, and it wasn't even a baseball throw. It was almost like the ball was below his shoulder, and he just kind of pushed it forward. I don't even know who was at the other end on the receiving end, but it was just...
Had to be Reeves, I would imagine.
It might have been Reeves. But yeah, it was just one of them type of things where it just looks so easy, and he does it so often. But it's like, if you know the angle of where he was, you're talking about these big men on the floor, and for him to line it in there nonetheless. But either way. All right, so when we come back, cap or no cap. By the way, Steelers declined to pick up the fifth-year option on not just Justin Fields, but Najee Harris. So Najee Harris and Justin Fields playing in their final contract year for the Steelers. That came out just about an hour ago.
Not a big deal. Obviously, you're not going to pick up the fifth-year option on Justin Fields for $25 million. I mean, he's not even going to be your starter for this upcoming season.
That's a lot of money for a punt returner. So.
Exactly. And the situation with, Najee, I would have preferred they picked it up. I mean, it would be like $6.5 million. But I understand the reason. And I mean, like, okay, we're expecting Najee to continue to be a very productive back in the league. But it's a new system. It's coming into a new system. And there's also no rule against saying, like, all right, well, we can just sign you for a 2-year deal for, $10 million to save ourselves some money, make the contract fully guaranteed to lock you up for the next 2 years. But, I don't think that is a huge surprise that they didn't pick up the fifth-year options on either player.
Kenner and Cap, 1410 ESPN Radio. Cap or no cap next.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
If you need new roofing, siding or gutters, skylights or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. See Lance Roofing and Siding at their new location at 6903 Dayton Springfield Road in Enon. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722. Online at lanceroofing.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Cordell Transportation has more advantages than ever before, including brand new equipment. That's right, plus excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply now at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Old English Outfitters, 50 years keeping you outdoors and on target. Check out the specials page on their website for exclusive deals. Old English Outfitters, 480 Ginghamsburg Road, Tip City, Ohio.
If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Posters, flyers, signs, and menus for less? Think Staples. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward. Now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Same-day service available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. And all backed by Staples' Print Perfect guarantee. So it's done right or it's printed again free. Staples, your local print and marketing expert. N61, visit staples.com/print for details.
Save big money on your outdoor project now at Menards. We have everything you need to keep your outdoor power equipment running smooth so you can keep that lawn in tip-top shape or enjoy some time on your boat. Right now, all FVP, lawn and garden, and marine batteries are on sale through May 5th. Check out our entire selection of FVP batteries today and view our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals.
Save big money at Menards.
Visit us at Hollywood Gaming Dayton this spring for the playoff action and the return of baseball. We've got the biggest screens, the best food and drinks, plus we're giving away Penn bonus play and prizes to Penn Play Rewards members. Not a member? Join by downloading and registering for the Penn Play app from the App Store. Unlock the fun, including a chance to win up to $2,000 in Penn cash. Make Hollywood Gaming Dayton your spring sports viewing headquarters. Must be in the state of Ohio to wager and over 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966 or visit org.ohio.gov for help.
Your daily commute. You could do it alone. The downside is spending thousands each year on gas, parking, and vehicle maintenance, not to mention the air pollution you're causing. There is a smarter way. Introducing GoHio Commute. What is GoHio Commute? It's a free service with info on commuting options like ride matching for carpoolers, van poolers, and bike poolers, and links to local public transit providers. Go to MiamiValleyRideshare.org or call 223-SAVE for details. GoHio Commute, a smarter way.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
It's time for everyone's favorite segment. Cap or no cap?
Cap or no cap? Everyone's favorite segment, Kev. Cap or no cap? What are the rules?
The rules are very simple. You, Justin Kenner, will put out there a question, and we will answer it in cap or no cap fashion. Cap means lie. No cap means the 100% absolute truth.
Oh, as my good friend Slick Rick used to say. Now we're off and rolling here again as we wrap up hour number 2. Kenner and Kev, 1410 ESPN Radio. What the hell? Let's just, stick to what's in front of you in the paper. Here we go. All right, so there are rumors swirling right now that the Lakers, by the end of the week, will have moved on from Darvin Ham as head coach.
No kidding.
And the names that are being circulated around as potential replacements, you're hearing the likes of a Rajon Rondo, and another name is J.J. Redick. So, cap or no cap, Kev, J.J. Redick will be the Lakers' next head coach.
I'm going to go with cap. just from listening to JJ's podcast for like the last year and a half, obviously I don't know the man, but you kind of feel like you get to know people and what's important to them. From everything that I muster from his podcast, living in New York is very important to him. Being around his family is very important to him. The job he has now with ESPN still allows him to be a part of the game that he loves so much, basketball, and spend a ton of QT with his family. So I'm going to go with Cap. I'm going to go with he will not be the Lakers head coach.
So it's funny because, people say, LeBron agreed to team up with, JJ. So this whole podcast has basically just been a job interview.
Yeah.
To work for LeBron as his head coach, right? Look, I don't think he will be, but I think that the door's open for it. I'm going to say Cap as well. I don't think he is, but it would not surprise me because everything you say is true. But it's also the Los Angeles Lakers.
Right.
It's also a chance to coach LeBron, who is still playing at a stupid level. And there's Anthony Davis, and it's an okay roster that you can make some tweaks here and there. That you could do something here with it. So I'm going to say yes. Look, my thing is, Charles Barkley went on this little rant saying that everyone that's blaming all the issues with the Lakers and stuff on Ham and then Vogel with the Suns, calling them all idiots and saying they don't know basketball and all this. I know people want to give Vogel more of a break than or people are giving, they're trying to give the Lakers, Darvin Ham, more of a break than Vogel. But I'm here to say, when I look at Darvin Ham, so he said they're a bad roster. I don't think they're that bad of a team. I don't think they're that bad of a roster. Look, the best team in the NBA is the team that just knocked them out of the playoffs, and they're this close every time. I look at the Suns, they're without a point guard. That explains their issues, and they're not the most perfectly constructed roster either, another top heavy, but a point guard is kind of their issues. And you find out Frank Vogel wanted a point guard, and ownership went against that, saying that, hey, they have too many playmakers on the floor. They feel if they go invest in a point guard that you need to, if you're going to invest in one, that point guard needs to have the ball in their hands, and that's kind of hard to do when you got a Bradley Beal and you got a Kevin Durant and you got a Devin Booker and that type of thing. So I'm more willing to excuse Vogel with the Suns than I am Darvin Ham, because when you're losing so many close games, that's coaching, in my opinion. I feel like one adjustment here or there. I'm like that with baseball too. With the Reds and David Bell. I look at a lot of the one-run losses and stuff. I'm like, well, that's on the manager, and that's not just a Kinner take. When I worked with Mark Schlemmer, who was a baseball lifer, everyone that that's around the game of baseball, they say, yeah, it's hard to really gauge a good or a bad manager, but one of the benchmarks is, how are they in close games, one-run games, and that's kind of how I evaluate it. I look at the Lakers when they've lost so many close games to the Denver Nuggets, who are the best team in basketball, defending NBA champions. That means it's coaching, it's adjustments, but also being aware that, okay, it's his first year as a head coach too, or is this year two? This is year two. As a head coach. So I could see J.J. Redick doing it at the end of the day, and I think that's the type of name that LeBron would respect, but at the same time, is it the best option? My big complaint about LeBron would have more titles than MJ if he was willing to accept coaching. We wouldn't debate who's the best player in the NBA history, because it would be LeBron without any questions asked if he was willing to play for great coaches. And in my opinion, he's never been willing to play for great coaches. He's had the opportunity to play for Pat Riley. Now, I don't dislike Eric Spoelstra. I used to not be a big Eric Spoelstra guy because I looked at him as the same as every other inexperienced coach that had LeBron. LeBron, to me, the reason he was guilty by association, LeBron likes the non-experienced coaches that he could put his thumb over. So I just grouped him into that category. Ty Lue. I like Ty Lue now. At the time, I didn't like Ty Lue because I'm like, oh, that's just a guy that you could put your thumb over. J.J. Redick might turn into a good coach, but it's just another guy that he could put his thumb over. MJ hated that they moved on from Doug Collins, but he was willing to let Phil Jackson come in and do his thing. Because MJ was willing to let him do his thing, MJ became the greatest player of all time. LeBron has never been able to let a coach do his thing, and I think that's one of his biggest flaws. As great as he is, he's my greatest of all-time player, but to me, I don't think we would debate it if it wasn't for that major flaw, because he's never been willing to say, at this point, I need an experienced coach that has been through the battles. I need to go play for Pop. I need to go play for Spoelstra again. I need to go. And he's, again.
Or y'all need to bring him to me.
You're going to push Darvin Ham, first-year head coach. Is there ever been a star that has had more first-year head coaches than LeBron?
No.
To me, that's the problem, Kev. To me, that's LeBron's 4 NBA championships. Sometimes the teams have been better, like the Warriors. The Warriors are just straight up better. But more times than not, I think titles were left on the table because he was never willing to force his way into a situation. I know Spoelstra turned out to be good, but LeBron and you have the Heatles. Pat Riley, get your ass down here. I want to play for I'm a GOAT. I want to play for a GOAT. But he's never wanted to do that. I sidetracked this. Sorry. But
no,
yeah,
you're good.
thoughts.
I just think that, this whole LeBron thing with Bronny and the coach, and it's just so much drama.
Career suicide, basically.
Yeah, man. Like, somebody's going to take the job. Obviously, they always find somebody to take the job. I just think J.J. Redick is too smart to be that guy for this situation. I think J.J. Redick would find himself in a better position than this situation. Yeah, the payoff could be immense, but guess what? Like, there's a lot of egos involved. All athletes have egos. He's not too far removed from his playing career. You think for 1 second that J.J. Redick he does coach the Lakers and they win the championship, you think he's going to get an ounce of credit? Don't get no credit for that. It's going to be all LeBron. It was going to be all the Kings doing.
Like Ty Lue don't get credit.
Yeah, Ty Lue gets a little bit of credit. Spo gets credit now. But, I mean, Frank Vogel, he was the head coach of the Lakers when they won in the bubble. Nobody brings that up. Nobody brings it up. And speaking on the Suns' perspective, that's on management for not getting a point guard. They literally do not have a point guard. I know in today's basketball, it's positionless basketball. No, that's not true. You still need somebody to set up the show. And to having, 3 shooting guards to just say, hey, roll the balls out there like it's the YMCA, your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn, is not going to get it done in the NBA. But the other point is the players need to take some responsibility. I said this about Giannis and Dame when everything went down with Adrian Griffin. Like, okay, it's on y'all. Y'all didn't want Adrian Griffin to be the head coach anymore. Okay, fine. Y'all the stars of the team. Giannis, you the best guy on the team. Dame, we traded for you. You guys weren't feeling that. Okay, no matter who the coach was, if it was me, you, anybody out there, it's not on the coach. It's not on Doc. It's on y'all because y'all pushed the other guy out. To the Suns' point, it's on Booker. It's on KD. It's on Bradley Beal. You know what the Lakers did do under Frank Vogel? They played defense. They played lockdown defense.
Dwight Howard.
They had Dwight. They obviously had AD, LeBron. They also had a whole bunch of other guys buy into the system of playing defense.
Rondo. Yeah.
They don't play no defense. And I know like today's basketball, nobody plays defense. You have to play defense when it matters. Like the fourth quarter where Anthony Edwards just was going bananas every single game. It's ridiculous.
Well,
so players have to take responsibility for their part of this as well.
Cap or no cap?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Cap or no cap. That was just the first one. We have about 4 minutes left, so let's dive into this one. You just talked about Anthony Edwards. So
Ant-Man.
Last year we got to see a star in the NBA win his first championship, obviously, in Jokic. So Anthony Edwards will be the next star to win his first NBA championship. Now, keep in mind, there's a lot of stars who have yet to win one. That's why I thought last year Jokic winning it was very important for the NBA. Like, it's good for the NBA when LeBron wins it. It's good when Steph wins it. But overall, the NBA needs, like we talk about the face of the league, to be the face of the league, you have to have a championship. I don't think you could be the face of the league without a championship. I say that, though. LeBron was the face of the league, or I guess he was competing with Kobe. Kobe was still the face of the league during that first run with the Cavs, but that's not the point. The point is, to be the face of the league, you have to have a championship. That's why I think it's very important that Anthony Edwards wins a ring. Or, of course, you look at Boston right now with the trio that they have there. It's important there when you look at that situation. Is Anthony Edwards, cap or no cap? Anthony Edwards will be the next star to win his first ring.
I'm going to go with cap. I'm going to say that it's going to be Tatum and Brown.
I was stalling earlier, trying to hope that Tatum's name would come to my brain, and I was stalling because I couldn't remember it. But they've been close.
I think that duo it would be the next one. I am very, very, very close to picking the T-Wolves in this
series.
matchup.
I'm excited about this. That's why I asked you.
For one, like everybody talks about, like, oh man, how close the Western Conference Finals were last year between the Nuggets and the Lakers. It was the closest sweep in human history. Like that's great. You still got swept. The closest series that the Denver Nuggets played was in the second round. Well, in the first round last year versus T-Wolves. And the reason the T-Wolves stand a chance and that could actually beat the Denver Nuggets is not because of Ant-Man. He's great. He's going to do his thing. Him and Jamal Murray probably are going to cancel each other out. The reason that the T-Wolves can beat them is because they got three. They got one, they got two, they got three of them. They got three of them, and they all play their role perfectly. You got Cat, who can post and spread the floor. You got Rudy, a traditional big that's going to man down the paint. So that's two dudes that can guard him. And then you got Naz Reid coming off the bench who does a little bit of both. So you got three big men that Jokic has to worry about. He can't just float and not play defense on dudes. He has to play defense on all of those guys. So that's going to tire him out. And they can go at him and score on him as well. So, and they can play solid defense on him. So my thing is the T-Wolves have all the parts that can get them over the hump. And they do something that a lot of teams in the NBA don't do. They play defense quarters 1, 2, 3, and 4. Most teams in the NBA only play defense halfway through the second quarter, start of the third quarter, and when they really need it during the last 8 minutes of the game.
What's better for the NBA? A new dynasty with Jokic, which has Spurs vibes to it. It's not the sexiest form of basketball. Like if you're a basketball,
got commercials now, though.
If you're a basketball savant, you like Jokic. You like the way that he plays. He's an old school type of big, and then I think Edwards kind of complements him as far as that's Murray. Complements him. What's better for the NBA? A new dynasty, a back-to-back championships with the Nuggets, or a new star, another back-to-back years of a new star winning it in Anthony Edwards? What's better for the NBA?
Back-to-back with the Nuggets. The perfect scenario is the Nuggets, defending champions, go to the NBA Finals to take on the Boston Celtics. And would the Nuggets, or would it just go into 7? Would it go into 7? That's the perfect scenario because you have the traditional team in the Boston Celtics with two superstars on their side, and then you have the defending champions coming from the West Coast with the Nuggets and Murray and Jokic, trying to defend their title, and then you have the traditional power trying to finally get over the hump to get there at 20th banner, I think it is, for the Celtics. So I think that's the perfect scenario. Whoever wins, but you got to have that go 7. Whatever happens, as long as it goes 7, it's a perfect scenario.
Yeah, there needs to be. I think fans are kind of getting, like we talked about KD, LeBron, and Steph for so dang long that it's like, okay, you need something new. We got like that with a little bit with Peyton Manning and Tom Brady for a little bit, and you had your Ben Roethlisberger and your Phillip Rivers, and you had a lot of the same names over and over and over. And then this influx of new talent comes into the NFL with your Patrick Mahomes, of course, and with your Josh Allens and your Joe Burrows and guys like that. And now the NFL is like a fresh vibe. I think the NBA is about to embark on that as well, which is a good thing. And now you have your Jokic's. But what you need is just like the NFL's people hate the Chiefs now. They've turned on Patrick Mahomes. Right. They've turned on Kansas City. They were the feel-good team not even 3 years ago. Now everyone's bored. They're tired of seeing the same team dominate. You need teams like that, and I think that Denver could be that Spurs type of team where I hate that team. Anyone but the Spurs, anyone but Denver, anyone but Jokic winning it. I think they need that, but I think Anthony Edwards is well on his way to potentially doing it. The thing is, I'm going to say Anthony Edwards will be the next one. I'm going to say no cap. Is because if Boston doesn't do it this year, and I don't anticipate that they will, if they don't do it this year, I don't know what else you got to do if you're Boston. You've done everything you possibly can. This group, I feel like, has been around for ages. They were going against LeBron in the Eastern Conference Championship the last time he was still in Cleveland. Okay, They were, prematurely in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Right.
The East was really bad at that time.
That was the worst thing that could have happened to them. Making it to the Eastern Conference Finals so early on, because now the expectation was like that should happen every single year.
That was when Marcus Smart was still there. That was just a wildly bad Eastern Conference time during that stretch. So, but anyways, they've been to the Eastern Conference Finals so many times. They've been to the finals. They've lost in the finals. Like, you get back to the finals again and lose or get knocked out against the Knicks team or something, or maybe the Cavs if they kind of get hot and catch fire. Who knows? It's going to be interesting. I still think that the Nuggets are built. Or, I'm sorry, the Timberwolves are built to take off here. Last one on the way out here as we wrap up hour 2 of the show, Kev. LeBron, Steph, KD, cap or no cap, they have all won their last NBA title.
I'm going to say...
Remember, cap is lie, no cap is truth for our new listeners.
I'm going to say no cap. I think it's over. I think it's over for them winning championships. Golden State didn't even make the playoffs. They didn't make it to the playoffs. They didn't make it into the opportunity to play for one. KD and the Suns got swept. And, LeBron, more power to him. He's proven that, hey, man, you can keep playing this game as long as you take care of your body. But, it seems like we've been saying this for years. Eventually, he's going to fall off. Eventually, he's going to just turn into LeBum. At some point, it's going to come true. I'm just not sure when. What he's going to be into, the year 22? And,
You know what decline? You know a bad year for LeBron is going to be 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. You know that's still a tremendous ass stat line in the NBA, but that's going to be there are going to be teams that say, I no longer want a player that averages 24, 5, and 4. LeBron's a bum now. That is wild. That's going to be insane.
Yeah, man. But I think it's over simply because the young guns, not that they're coming. I think they're here. Like, I mean, we talk about like Wemby. This is year 1 for him. You think he's gonna get worse as a basketball player? He's only gonna get better. Ant-Man. This is year 4. He's only gonna get better. Like, they're just gonna continue to get better as they get older.
So, I think of all the 3, which is the one that has the best shot at winning another title?
It's always LeBron.
I'm going to say Steph, and here's why.
It's always LeBron.
I say Steph because Steph's play is suited for today's basketball more than any of the others. LeBron, no matter what, Father Time will catch up at some point, whenever that is. But Steph could play another 6-7 years as a dominant three-point shooter and blend in. If Mike Conley, if Minnesota finds a way to get Steph Curry in the offseason, let's say the Warriors say, you know what, we've had our fun, let's blow this up. And they move on from Mike Conley and maneuver away to go get a Steph Curry. All of a sudden, Steph Curry with Ant-Man and this roster, all of a sudden, I think his shooting ability is why he could play a lot longer than LeBron and KD. KD, I mean, I think people are kind of checking out on KD a little bit. I mean, they're tired of the no point guard. I get it. Injuries, get it. It's always something with KD. Fair or not, good or bad, but like I'm out on KD. Unless he goes back to the Warriors. I don't know, but no.
No, what people need to do with Kevin Durant is watch him play and not look at like his stats. He's not the same player. He's just not. I mean,
when's the last time he did an explosive dunk? He's not.
He's not the same player. He can get you the same points, but it's not the same. Points are not points. It's very difficult to explain, but people see it with their eyes. And do you notice him? Did you notice Kevin Durant out there? Like the one game where he did kind of go off, I was like, oh yeah, KD hooping. But like, he's not making those splash impact type of plays and going on those berserk runs anymore. And I mean, he didn't even do that during the quote unquote regular season where it doesn't matter. Like, it just isn't there anymore. He's not the same player. Now, could that be interest in the game? Could that be, no point guard, a system, whatever? Hey, man, we haven't seen a Kevin Durant type of performance since they lost to the Bucks in the second round, where his foot was on the three-point line. Like, we haven't seen that from him, and that's like 3 years ago.
Where he's taking over games, not just putting up points in bunches, but literally taking over games. And by the way, that's the same thing with like LeBron. Like LeBron, like his stat line's dominant, but like I watch a lot of Lakers basketball. I've watched his entire career. He's dominating stat lines, but he's not dominating games.
Right.
And that's the thing. But like
LeBron does it in spurts. He'll give you a spurt here, spurt here, spurt there, and it accumulates. With KD, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it in 3 years like that. I'm like, oh man, KD's on one tonight. Like, this last game with the Denver and the Lakers, like LeBron was playing inside out as opposed to outside in. I was like, when LeBron plays inside out, I'm like, oh, we about to get one of those classic LeBron games. Like, he's going to play bully ball this game. And he had a great game.
So, last thing on the way out, Casey, don't kill me. I'm done. I promise. So, I just want to respond. So, who is this? The player formerly known as Mouse Cop. Did I say that? Is that his name, Mouse Cop? I don't know. But that's his YouTube name. So he says no cap. So again, LeBron, Steph, and KD have all won their last NBA title. Cap means lie. No cap means truth. Kev says no cap. I say cap. I think that Steph Curry still has a ring left in him. Now, again, the caveat being, we could have put this in there too, with them being the premier player on that. I think that they're all done. LeBron could still win another ring being the best player, but that window is shrinking. Maybe a year, maybe 2 years. But I do believe Steph Curry could still win another ring because I think his play can – I think he could play another 6-7 years if he wanted to, and he doesn't have to be the best player on the floor, but he also wouldn't be the worst player on the team either, and I think he could blend in. I think he could win a ring that way. But he says no cap. They could all win championships, but they just won't be able to get into teams where they have a chance. Like
maybe they all just team up.
LeBron's not going to San Antonio to play with Wemby.
Right.
KD's not going to San Antonio to play. Or maybe he will.
You can't count KD out.
I was going to say
KD could show up with the Cavs next year. He could show up with the Lakers. He could show up anywhere. At this point, you have no idea about KD. My biggest question about Steph, is I think it's going to be up to him. I don't think he's going to be the one they're going to trade him. He's going to have to go to managing and say, you know what, I think it's time for me to move on. KD, he's just going to be like, yeah, hey, guess what? I'm not playing for y'all no more.
Yeah. His burner account said, what's Denver like this time of year?
Exactly.
Kenner and Cap, 1410 ESPN Radio, Chatterbox Sports on YouTube. We made Casey work 8 extra minutes today. He's going to kill me. Casey, thank you. Appreciate you, man. Sorry
And
about
Debbie.
that.
Don't forget
And Debbie, but we're getting the commercials in. That's all that matters at the end of the day. Look, Casey said, oh, your camera's dead. You took the camera out? No, the camera just died. See, that camera has 2 hours on it, period. So that we
I'm
know.
good. I'm here. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh. Nate says,
I froze.
Yeah, you just froze. That's a sign. If there was ever a sign to shut the hell
Sign
up.
from above.
Yep. All right, that's it. Kenner and Cab, 1410 ESPN Radio, Chatterbox Sports on YouTube. Have a great night, everybody.